Hi guys! I don't know if you guys can tell, but I am at home. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about the 5 things that I didn't know and I want everyone else to know as an incoming transfer to a UC. So as you guys know, I transferred last fall, and so I finished my first year at Davis. Yippee! It was fun. It was definitely hard. I would say that it was pretty overwhelming, but I'm on my last year now, so hopefully everything goes well and I graduate on time and things will be okay. Things will always work out, guys. Don't worry about it, okay? So there are some things that I didn't know, or I didn't know the extent of to what it was when I transferred in, okay? And I wanted to talk about it just because I wish somebody had told me it before I transferred in, just because I think it's pretty helpful to know and be aware of so you can figure things out easier, I guess. I don't know. I'm not very good at wording things, so bear with me, okay? And we're using my mic today. I found it in my room when I was cleaning. I used it for like a mic'd up gym session back then, and I haven't used it since. So I charged it and we're trying it out. Okay, so first off, I would say making friends is super hard. Personally, for me, I had a hard time, but I don't know, maybe it's just a personal issue. Who knows? It might just be me. But anyways, when you come in as a transfer, everyone kind of already has their own like niche or their own group that they had been with since like freshman year, and so it's kind of hard to come in and just like intrude, you know, or make your own new group, I guess. So you kind of just feel like you're just there, and it's hard. You feel alone a lot of the time, which I found really difficult. For me, it helped to join clubs. I joined VSA and the pre-PA club. When I came, pre-PA club was really good with kind of guiding me on my pre-PA journey. I didn't make too many friends from it, but it is more of like an educational kind of club than a social one. And so I joined VSA for social, and it really helped me connect with more people, and I was able to talk with a lot of new people and make friends with people that I never thought I would really make friends with before, and I probably wouldn't have met any other way. And some of these people actually ended up being in my classes, which was really helpful because we were able to study together, help each other revise work, just help each other in general, talk about due dates and all this stuff, you know, casual things. But I definitely think it's a different vibe coming in as freshmen versus a transfer, even though you guys are both coming into a new school you've never been to. Freshmen just kind of come in with this whole different energy and this vibe, and like all these freshmen are much more active in things and more willing to kind of make those friends, whereas when you're a transfer, I feel like you're more timid, I guess. I don't know, again, might just be me, might just be a personal problem, I don't know, but I found I had a harder time than freshmen. Also, transfer orientation wasn't very helpful, at least personally not for me. I didn't make many friends from it. They kind of group you based on, I think, your schools. So like schools of sciences, school of engineering, school of biological sciences, blah, 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 right? They kind of group you based on those. So it's likely that you'll have classes with some of these people, but I didn't, unfortunately. And also the people I had in my group just weren't people that I'd necessarily hang out with outside of the type of arrangement, I guess, or situation. So it's kind of a hit or miss with those things. Second of all, not all your classes will transfer. This was a really, really big thing, and I really wish I knew this before I transferred, because this kind of really freaked me over. So as a transfer student, I had taken the first part of general chemistry, okay? So at Davis, there's 3 parts because there's 3 quarters. So there's Chem 2A, 2B, and 2C. But at community college, there's just Chem 400 and Chem 401 since they're on the semester system. And I took Chem 400, and then I thought I could transfer into Davis and just take like the second part. I don't know how I thought it was gonna work, but you know, I wasn't thinking. That's my fault, but I figured it out. Basically, I was supposed to take it so then I could fulfill my prereq for OChem, and I was supposed to take OChem this fall. However, when I was signing up for OChem, it was like, you don't have your prereq done, and I was like, oh crud, how am I gonna fix this? And I met up with like several different counselors from community college and Davis, and I was like, please help me out. And like they just, like the community ones just were not helping me out. They were like, one was telling me the most like BS thing ever. They were like, oh, if you do this and this, like you'll be fine. And then I was like, okay, and then I did it, and then I contacted the office. I was like, hi, I did this, am I clear now? And then they were like, no, what are you talking about? And I was like, bruh, I just wasted like 3 days on this, waiting for no reason. But anyways, I figured it out. I ended up just taking Chem 401, the second part of Gen Chem, during the summer, and then transferred it over so I could take OChem in the fall, and it worked out. So we're all good to go to take that, but just be aware that some of your classes might not transfer, especially the ones that are part of a series, just because they kind of split it up differently at community college versus AUC. So that's something that you really need to look into before you transfer your credits over, because you don't want to be taking classes that you don't need or classes that you can't finish at a UC. You want to finish it as soon as possible at the community, or you could take it during the summer after you do your UC. I don't know, it depends on your plan. Just make sure it works out in the end, okay? As long as you get everything done before you graduate, you're all good to go, and there's no prereqs and you're good. Third of all, the financial differences. Okay, I think everyone is aware of the financial differences between a community college and a UC. However, I was not aware to this extent that a UC costs so much flipping money. Okay, a community, I was paying maybe a few hundred per semester. Okay, so that's like, at most I paid 500, I think. So let's say I paid like 1,000 a year. Yeah, so I paid a few thousand per quarter for a UC. That's like, yikes, you know? I was just looking at my tuition actually, because it's due soon. It's 7.5K for 1 quarter. That's including the health insurance though, but I waived my health insurance because I already have health insurance, so I don't need it at the UC because it's kind of useless, you know? I'm not paying for both. So without it, I think it's about 6K, 6.5 maybe, which is quite a lot. It's definitely a lot for 1 quarter, and then you have 3 quarters after. And it's like 6.5 times 3. Yikes, that's a lot of money, guys. I know I was struggling, my parents were getting stressed. It's definitely a big difference. So I would definitely look into scholarships. I was lucky enough to get one. I would say some of them are lottery systems, some of them are based on your academics, some of them are based on sports. Like, there's all different types of scholarships out there. Just apply to as many as you can, and hope for the best, because I was lucky enough to get one and it covered me for all of last year, and that took off quite a lot for my family, and forever grateful for that. Another thing is the cost of living. So when you're at community college, you're living at home most likely, right? So you're not paying for housing, you're not paying for food, you're pretty much only paying for like your own spending. So like if you go out getting coffee, your car, your gas and stuff like that, right? Which seems like a lot to begin with, depending on how much you go out. But like once you move out, you got the apartment cost, you have other fees that you need to look into, like renter's insurance, and like you're on your own, you have to cook your own meals and buy your own groceries. And luckily enough, like my parents were paying for my apartment, and so I was mostly kind of just covering gas and like groceries and stuff like that, and like whatever I use when I go out. So I didn't have to worry about the cost of apartments. But if you have to worry about that, it's something really big. And even if you don't, for your parents, it's definitely a big deal, because my apartment cost me $1,600 a month, including parking. And that's because as a transfer student, you get in around April or May, and so then you don't commit until that time and you're looking at apartments. And that's a lot later than most people do, because I think most people sign the lease around like January or so. So by the time you're looking for the apartments, the property managers kind of already increased the prices. And so you're paying a lot more, and you've also have the shorter end of the stick, because those are usually the apartments that are too expensive to begin with, or are kind of bad and trashy and people didn't want them. But it's kind of like you don't have a choice because you transferred in. You got to do what you got to do, you know? Fourth, the teaching style. Community college, small classes. Definitely got more individual attention and help. The classes are probably like, I don't know, 30, 40 people max. You and your teacher knows your name. I don't even think my teachers knew my name at Davis, because yeah, unless you're coming in very often, you have like your labs are about the same size as community college lectures, but your lecture halls for UC are about 200 to 300 people, and that's like 10 times the amount compared to community college. So very big difference. You don't get as much individual help unless you're going to office hours, and I know a lot of people don't like to, just because it's kind of embarrassing, or you don't want to have that individual attention on you. You don't have like specific questions to ask, because me going into office hours, like they always expect you to have like questions already, but it's like I don't know where to even start. Like I'm just lost. I don't know where to start here, kind of thing, you know. So it's kind of hard. You definitely have to push yourself into going there. But I know a lot of people do go, and so you're not going to be the only one. You can ask other students for help too. It's really helpful. Also, just staying after class to ask some questions to clarify from the lectures is really helpful. But yeah, I think that was one of the big things I had to get used to. Lastly, the quarter system versus the semester system. It's definitely a very big difference. I'd probably say it's the biggest adjustment after finances. Where do I even start? It's a lot faster paced because there's 3 quarters versus 2 semesters, right? So I don't know how many times faster that is. I wouldn't be able to tell you because I don't like math and I haven't. Yeah, it's summer. I'm sorry, guys. But it goes by really fast. So there's pros and cons to that. The pro is if you don't like the class, it goes by fast. You don't have to deal with it within like several weeks. I never thought about it like that until my boyfriend told me, and it's something that I keep in mind a lot because there's a lot of classes I've taken and I'm just like, wow, I really don't like this teacher, or wow, I really hate this class. But it goes by really fast, so just try to push through. And then cons though, you are constantly busy. For me, I don't really think of that as a con because I like being busy. I just think that it keeps me productive throughout my days, because sometimes when I'm not busy, I kind of find myself just slacking off and kind of bed rotting, or I don't know, doing stupid things instead of spending my time doing more useful things. Because when I'm already in the groove of like studying and doing homework, I kind of am in the I'm already in the groove of like doing other things like cleaning my room, cooking, going on walks, doing all those like productive things that don't involve technology and electronics all the time, you know? Not to say that technology is bad, because I definitely bed rot before I go to sleep every night. Like, it's definitely a habit. But sometimes my boyfriend's got me into this habit though. Very good influence. Sometimes I read before bed instead of going on my phone and scrolling through TikTok, and it's something I've noticed I do on my more productive days. Another con though, I would say that this one definitely falls in with me, is if you start to fall behind, you're gonna stay behind for a while unless you take that time to catch up right away. There was a time when I think I missed class, and that lecture I was like, oh, I'll watch the lecture later, and then I kind of kept pushing it off until like right before the midterm, and I was like, oh my god, I need to watch the lecture. And then I watched it, and it took me so long to understand it, because one, I'm already like a slow learner, so that's just a personal problem. But since I am a slow learner, whoa, my god, my words. Since I am a slow learner, it took me pretty much the whole day to kind of figure it out and be prepared for my midterm. And so I would say if you miss a class or if you skip a class, catch up on that lecture right away. Because I know some people that do skip classes to study for other midterms, which is totally valid, because I do that too. Because why am I going to a lecture when I have a midterm tomorrow, you know? But you need to catch up on those classes right away, because it's really hard to catch up when you already are so behind. That's all I have to say for today. I hope you guys have a great day and a good school year this year. I know some people are starting school next week, and some of you guys already started school, and then for the UC students, you guys aren't starting school for another month, so enjoy your summer break still. I hope you guys have a great time, and I wish you all the best of luck in college, school, wherever you're going. I don't know. I'll see you guys again soon. Bye!